Hi, this is Bindya. So today, instead of doing sewing in the machine, I'm planning to show you some hand sewing because whenever we do some repairs and alteration, it's a combination of machine as well as hand sewing. So let's start off, and there'll be few of them, and I'll be doing a demo, and just like we'll be doing it on a piece of fabric. So let's start off. So the first one that I'm going to show is a hemming, which if you remember in my last session, I had shown machine hemming, but over here we'll be doing hand hemming. So for that, again, the folding is a 1/4 inch. You can use your ruler if you want to. I'm just going to fold it. So just 1/4 inch over here. My first folding, 1/4 inch. I'm going to put the pins. So once that 1/4 inch is done, I'm going to do extra 1/2 inch. All this is to show the hand hemming. This fabric is unwashed one, so it's a little bit starchy. So putting pins sometimes gets a little bit difficult, but they work out really good, especially when you are doing it for the first time. It creases so well. And just like how I said, whenever you have to practice anything, just use cotton fabric, because silken fabric or any other stretchy fabric, it doesn't work good as a beginner to start with. So now if you'll see, I have done my hemming over here. I just folded it. So I'm going to show you two kinds of hemming. One is a visible hemming and one is invisible. It's something similar to a slip stitch. So I'm going to show you two kinds of hemming. So now to start off with, the thread that you're going to use has to be single and knotted. Now whenever we have to start any kind of a hemming, we have this folded section. So always hide your knot inside it. So I'm bringing it from inside the fold, my needle, and going to hide the knot. That's always the first step that we need to do, especially when we are doing hand sewing. So now this is done. I'll just push the pin a little bit away so that you can see it better. So when I'm doing my visible hemming is like creating a V alphabet, okay? So as I'm doing it, when you'll watch, it'll be like a V going over here. So now when I have it over here, this is my starting, and I always like doing it next to the fold and to the fabric adjacent to it. Now if I start it from here, my V will be a diagonal stitch, and I'll be lifting up 1 or 2 yarns from there, okay? These are the woven, these if you'll see, these are yarns, like the threads, you can call it, another word. But these are yarns, like you see over here, these are the yarns. So I generally like picking up 2 or 3. The reason being why, because the more I'll pick up, the more it's going to show on the right side of your garment. So you don't want it to show much that you have hand hemmed or whatever it is. You don't want the thread to be seen. So it's a good idea to just pick up 1, 2 yarns only. And it depends upon the thickness of the fabric too, how much you want to pick up. So now if you'll see, my one side of V is done. Now that other V has to go like this. Okay, I don't want to go straight. I have to go like this, diagonal again. Now again, if you'll see, when I'm doing it, this distance and this distance should be same to make it look beautiful. Because visible hemming, you really have to go neat because it's not hidden. You see the thread out. So if you see, a V alphabet is made, like see, it looks like that. Now this is the whole step. You start, you go like this. Now it's all repetition throughout. So I'm going to repeat the same step. Go diagonal in a V and pick up again 2 yarns. And now I can continue doing it. If once you learn how to do it, you can continue hemming to go faster. I'll just remove this pin. So you see, this is what exactly we need, hemming. I'll just continue doing it 3-4 times to show you the result, and then we can switch to the invisible hemming. And I'm going to show you the right side also, just to get an idea. Don't go like this, okay? Then more thread is exposed. Don't do like that, exposed. So you have to go really closer to it, and we don't want the thread. And just like how I said, it's a self-colored thread. I've used a contrast to show it better for the video, but otherwise it's a self-thread, color thread. So now you see over here, that's the way the hemming works. Now this is called a visible hemming. Now let's move on to invisible hemming. Now why I'm showing you 2 different kinds, because these are generally the hemming that you use in garments. But if you see formal outfits, they have special machines to do those kind of a hemming. But we don't have those special dressmakers machine. So we'll be using our own hands to get the same thing that they generally have, okay? So it is called invisible hemming, but sometimes you can give another word like a slip stitch, which I'm going to do a demo on a toy, so you'll understand the difference of how that stitch is similar, but how it can be used in different ways. So now suppose this is my starting, like my knot is hidden under this, just like how the starting is the same way. Now for the invisible hemming, wherever your thread has come out, you have to pick up those 2 yarns next to it. No spacing, nothing. Because we want the thread to be invisible. We don't want the thread to be exposed like that. Okay. So for the dress pants or like the formal pants, this is what we use. So I picked up 2 yarns from there. And now I'm pulling it, completely pulling it out like this. And now what I need to do, I need to go back to the same hole from where it was taken and pass my needle through the fold. See, my needle is not exposed anywhere. It's in the fold. So that it means the thread is hiding inside now. Okay. So now I'm taking it out. So my thread is hidden. So you see over here, it's just like not seeing the thread at all. And especially if it's a self color, it's not going to show. Now wherever my thread came out, exactly I need to pick up again 2 yarn next to it. Not too far, okay? Just next to it so that less thread is shown. And I'm again picking up 2 yarns like this, okay? 2 yarns. And pulling my thread completely. For this I can't do continuously. I have to pull it to get it, and now again get back to the same hole. You see what I'm talking about? See over here, the same hole from where you took it out. So the minimum thread is shown. And again, whatever distance you travel from here to here inside the fold, the same to maintain the evenness of your hemming. And again pick up the 2 threads over here. Now I'm going to show the difference. See, now when you see over here, this is the invisible hemming. You don't get to see the thread, and this is your visible hemming. So you can do any kind of a hemming as per your requirement. And just like how I said, when we are doing repairs and alteration, we get a lot of people's work, and we have to use both kind of hemmings. I'm going to show you the right side of the garment. So this is what hemming is all about. And now it's a continuity of that same, this stitch only, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to use it on a toy and show from why this invisible hemming, I can use it as a slip stitch in another garment also. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, do a demo, because we are doing hand stitches. So I thought, like, it's a good idea to show you a demonstration on a fabric and work with it. Okay, so now if you see, now this, I have somebody's, one of our clients, baby's son's toy. So she had given me two toys. Okay, so one is this. This is a much more smaller rip, but I wanted to show you brown because it's going to show you better, but she had given like that. So now this, the invisible hemming is another word for it, is a slip stitch, which I'm going to do it over here. But the way of doing it is exactly what I did during my invisible hemming. So I'm going to do a show you a little bit of how we can sew this rip. See, for these kind of things, you don't need a machine, and you can't do it also on a machine. So we have to be practical. We have to learn hand sewing also to fix up our stuff and not throw things in the landfill. Okay, that's the reason we have this sewing hub, so that people bring their stuff and we fix it and help them from not going into the landfill. Now, why I put a pin? Because whenever somebody brings our, the people, whenever they bring their stuff, we have to know where exactly we have to do. So I like putting, like showing that this is the area which needs to be repaired. So now for this one, if you'll see, I have this thread still opening up, okay, a lot. So I'm just going to little bit open it up more, so that I reach that point where I can start off and work. So now over here, if you'll see that this is my starting over here. Now I'm going to do the same like a slip stitch. Like if you see, this is the old stitch that was already sewn into the toy. It's exactly like how for the invisible hemming, we took it out from here, push it over here, took it out from here, push it over here. In that, we were doing it in one single fabric, but over here we have two different fabric. So it's like making a seam. It's like making a seam. So we are joining without the machine. We are doing it with the needle. So all this will be stitched like a seam. Okay. So now if I'm going to bring my knot from over here, see, I need a much more thicker knot, because this fabric is fur. So fur has generally got big holes on the back, wrong side. Okay. So I'm going to push the knot now, hide it over there. I should be doing it with the brown thread, but because of a class, I'm trying to show it just with a contrast thread, which I'll be taking it out once. I'll just do a little bit demo for you. And so now what we need to do, wherever the thread has come out, where the thread is out, opposite to that, you just pass it through the fabric. So it's exactly like what you did in the hemming. You did it inside the fold. We are doing it in the fabric itself. So now opposite that, I'm going to sew this section. And keep on pulling as you move, You can double the thread too, because especially it's a toy, you can double it. But for coats and all that, we like doing single thread to give it look like a machine sewing only from inside. So you keep on sewing into the opposite direction. And the closer you do, the better it gets. So now you keep on seeing that, see how it is getting stitched. I'm just going to do till here so that we can move on and learn something else. So you see all this has got closed. You see, I'm pulling it. It was ripped off from here to here, like so. I see I finished doing this. And in the fur, it's not, the red color is not even showing. Okay. So I'm just show you one more time. So basically what I'm doing is from the opposite side, you see, you can see the thread now. Opposite side, I'm just pushing it in the fabric because it's a fur, so you're not seeing it, but I'm going to show you another fabric, quilted fabric. You'll be able to see better. So now you see all this is sewn. So this part we'll be finishing later on. This demo is done. Now I'm going to show you the same thing that we are going to do. Like whenever we get coats like that, we have people giving us coats with a rip over here in the sleeve sometimes, okay? And so we tell them that you can fix it up yourself too. Either if you have a machine, there's a system of going inside the coat, okay, which I'll be doing a demo later on in one of my sessions, because that is a little bit complicated to understand how to fix up a coat, to repair a coat. So in that, there's always a seam inside, which we have to go inside the coat to fix it up. So the easier way to do it, to save you the time, and if you don't have a sewing machine, to do it with your needle and thread. So I've just got some old somebody's coat we had shortened. So I have that fabric around. So I just got that quilted one to show exactly what we'll be doing. So now for that coat, I have just intentionally made a rip like this. Okay, so your coat will have a rip like going outside. This is the outside of a coat. So this is what we need to fix up. And we are going to do it the same slip stitch and see how it'll be done. It'll look like a machine sewing only once it's finished. So this is the rip actually going like this. Okay, so see the coat. Now this has got one more layer which is missing, because I just wanted you to see the inside of how the coat is made. This is actually the fur that they have. This is actually a fusing for padding, for warmth, and this is actually the lining inside the coat. So now I'm going to fix up, show you how to do it. So it's a good idea, whenever you're doing something, you want it to align good, you can use a pin and pin it up over here so that it doesn't move. Okay, so once you have this, that okay, my alignment is good, now I can start my sewing. So in this too, you have to hide your thread inside. You hide your thread inside over here, okay? So it's a good idea to start like from here so that your knot goes inside. So my knot is inside over here. Now this is where the rip is starting. So I need to start from here exactly. And as I'm going, see now my thread is from this side. I have to go opposite, just like how I did it on the toy, and travel little bit. Now my traveling is all based into the spacing that I see over here. If you see very closely, these stitches, the gap is so close. So I want to do similar like that. So if I'm doing similar, then my needle has to travel very close inside the fold. So right now, what I'm going to do, opposite this, I'm going to travel very short distance because I want it to look like that. So when I've traveled, I've come to the other layer. Now opposite to that layer fold, I need to push my needle inside. Now again, wherever I've taken out, go to the other side fabric and again travel very small distance as per my requirement. And keep on pulling because we don't want that space to be seen. Okay, so keep on pulling it. That stitching is really very small in the jacket. Generally, it's not so small. You don't have to worry. You can go a little bit longer in it. It's just that there shouldn't be any gap. And just like how I said, a self color thread, okay, not this, the contrast. So see how I'm traveling over here. Now I'm going to show what exactly I did, okay, because this is the open one. So I'm going to show this is still open, and when I finish sewing, I'm going to a little bit hold it tight, the thread, so that it doesn't. So this is what I have sewn. If you see the red color, because I'm stretching it really hard, but otherwise if you see it from the top, after I finish sewing, this looks like a regular seam. So whenever we have any ripped coat from outside, this is a good idea to fix it up. You don't have to go inside and use a sewing machine. But if you have a sewing machine, that method I'm going to show you in one of the sessions later on. So now let's move on to our thing called backstitch. Okay. Now backstitch is also, I'm going to just show you on the same sample over here and use the thread from here only. Now backstitch is the one that when you don't have a sewing machine and you have to do something that looks like a machine sewn stitch. So for that one, what generally we do is called a backstitch. Backstitch means you keep on coming in the back direction. And that backstitch, I'll show you why it's called backstitch and the reason of doing it. But it's a very strong stitch that we can do, okay? So now what I would like to do, I can show you in this so it'll be easier for you to understand better, because I would like to show it as a seam, okay? So if I have a fabric like this, like a seam. So now suppose my seam has come out, okay, a little bit, like see, I have to do, suppose this line, I have to do my stitching and I have now my rib, this has come out, okay, my stitching has come out, but this part is all good and I don't have a sewing machine. I can use a back stitch. So what is a back stitch? Now suppose this is my the edge, the seam that has opened up, okay, so I need to fix up that seam, but the rest is good. So what I need to do, I'll be doing a back stitch. Now to start a back stitch, you generally start, this is suppose my starting point, this is my starting point. I'll show you starting so you'll understand. This is my starting point, that's where I need to start. But for my back stitch, I'm going to go a stitch away, okay, like I have to go like this, a little bit ahead than my actual one, because it's a back stitch, okay? So I'm going to start like this. It's only for the starting I'm having like this. Sorry, I forgot to put the knot. I'm just going to do a knot. It's only for the starting you have to do this step, but otherwise it is very simple but very practical stitch, this back stitches. Always keep your thread towards one side, okay? Not like, it shouldn't come like a loop. So I'm doing like this. So this is my starting point, but I started a little bit ahead because it's a back stitch. So now what I'm doing, whatever distance I had from here to here, the same distance I have to push my needle that it gets maintained. So now my stitch will be like this. So you see, this stitch and this stitch length should be the same. Now, just like how I said, it's a back stitch. Back stitch means you are now going and putting it in the same hole over here, and continue going little bit ahead, just like how you did for the previous one, and you get like a machine sewing. If you will see, I'm again going back, but the same hole, not over here, not here in between. It has to go in the same hole to look like a sewing machine stitch. You see over here, see over here, you can see the stitch. That's the way it should look like a machine sewing. The purpose is this only of the back stitch, and it is so much strong that if you don't, your machine is not working, and you can start doing like that, okay? So now I'm holding and again putting in the same hole and then bringing it ahead. So it's creating exactly like a machine sewing. Okay, this is little bit like, see how it is looking a little bit like crooked, but basically it is going, this needle is a little bit thicker, but it generally creates like a straight line like that, okay? And just like how I said, I didn't draw a line or anything, just a demo showing you that how backstitch works. So now I'm going to show you, flip it and show you the wrong side of it. Okay. So now this is now the wrong side. If you'll see, this is doubling of that stitch that I had done. So it makes your sewing much more stronger than even your machine sewing. So this is the purpose of having a back stitch. So then you don't need a machine and you can do this. And now the last one, I'm just going to show you that stitch is called a running stitch. Okay, these are all small stitches. I'm just showing you the basics so that you can practice. But when we will be doing it on the garments, that will be a little bit much more detailed, that where exactly we are going to use them. Okay, so now the last one I'm going to do is called a running stitch. Now the running stitch purpose is like three kinds. One is it's like a machine gathering, you can pull it. One is like when you have to tack two things together, like if I want to stitch something, I will do that running stitch. And and running stitch is even used in embroidery too. So I'm going to just do a demo over here showing. So running stitch doesn't need any line and anything because its purpose is different. So now when I have to do gathering, so this is the running stitch. So running stitch also should be even. So whatever I'm taking on the top, the same way I need to bring the needle up in the same way. So generally the running stitch is equal. Okay, top and bottom, it's equal. It's like an embroidery stitch also. You do it in the patchwork, the quilting, like, you know, when you do it in the big quilts, that's the time they use this running stitch, when you don't have machine. So we try our best to have the size, the length of the stitch same. Okay, so you see I got it like this. So this is what the running stitch is, and the back also, it is the same length, if you'll see, the same length. Now if I'll continue, I just want to do a little bit more to show you that this can be used if you don't have a machine and your garment, the gathers have come out, you can do hand gathering also. So see, this is now what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull it and it has created gathers. Now these gathers can be used to make flowers also for decoration purpose. And for kids, it's very nice to teach them like all these hand stitches. And they can also make some stuff and help in the repairing and alteration. And that's it for this class today. So I hope you are enjoying all these sessions with me, and I'm looking forward to the next one, and we might start the alterations or repairs next session. You just wait and watch. Thank you so much.